What up? Welcome to the Novelist with Backwards That Guy here. This is episode 18. And we are in The Road Ahead, chapter 9, The Road Ahead of this game. This is the conclusion, so we were going to make a decision, see how that turns out, and possibly this is the end, and we'll maybe see a finale wrap up, see what happens with everybody. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. So where's his envelope? Is this the envelope? Oh. Selecting the envelope means that the Kaplans will move to Blairstown. Linda won't be able to work with Art for All, and Tommy will have to start at a new school. There are no compromises. Oh, snap. Okay, so the envelope he's referring to is the envelope for his job opportunity. Interesting. Linda's in there. So if I select her second painting, selecting the canvas means that the Kaplans will stay in Laurelton, which will also let Tommy go back to his own school. Dan will have to turn down the offer from Hardesty. Okay. Selecting the backpack means that the Kaplans will stay in Laurelton, which will also let Linda work with Art for All part-time. Dan will have to turn down the offer from Hardesty. So there's a bit more to this decision than it leads on. So, okay, so if I pick the envelope, they move. Dan gets a real job. Linda can't work for Art for All, but there's also that implication that she will be able to paint full time. But Tommy will have to move and meet new friends, which would be pretty rough on him. If I select Linda's painting, then she will apply for an we assume will get the job at the Art for All organization, which means Tommy can stay at his own school. If we select Tommy, then the focus is on him. They stay in their town, and Linda can work at the Art for All part-time. So, this is tough. So what's the best decision for everybody? So let's go back to him again. Dan, they move, which is hard on Tommy. It gives Linda the opportunity to go into painting full time. Dan gets a real full time job, more stability financially for the family, no more stress about trying to write books and all that stuff. So overall, that's a pretty stable choice, although it's going to be rough on Tommy for a little while until he gets used to the new surroundings. If we choose Linda, she gets to work for Art for All, which would be really great for her. Dan, we assume, will still have to keep writing, and we hope that his latest book here is successful, to help the family financially, and Tommy gets to stay at his own school, which is good for him. If we choose Tommy, then we focus on Tommy. Linda only works part-time, which means she can dedicate some time to Tommy as well. And Dan, again, we assume that he still has to write, which could put more stress on the family. Ooh, the choices. Alright, well. I like the idea of them moving because that gives everybody a lot more stability, even though it'll be hard on Tommy. I just hope that's not too much for Tommy in this situation. If it was real life, I would go with that choice because kids bounce back from that stuff. I mean I should know. I moved out of the country when I was in 5th grade, so Yeah, it sucks really bad to move, but you get used to it and you actually learn to appreciate it after that initial rough patch. But in regards to this game, I don't know how that's gonna work. I have a sneaking suspicion that moving will, be detrimental to Tommy and he'll, fall back in his study and da da da. So I'm gonna go with Dan's because that'll give Tommy a fresh start. It'll allow Linda to do her painting, and Dan might just find that he likes being a teacher. Right? Sure. This is the decision that's been pulling me towards it, so we're gonna go with it. Here we go. Ready? Oh man! All right, we're going with it. We're going with it. Oh man. Okay. Hope we get to find out about the house too. So here we go. Oh, just like this. There's no compromises though. But maybe we'll get to learn about the house here. Let's see out to the cliffs. So I probably cut a bunch of this episode because I just kind of went around agonizing over the decision. So trust me, it's a lot shorter than it could have been. What? I just don't like how, and of course I'm sure it's just me, but games like this where you have these decisions and it only tells you a little piece of it, and then you make the decision and then it goes a completely different way from what you expected. That's one thing that bugged me about the Mass Effect series. You have these options on how to respond to people, and you would select an option thinking, oh, okay, this is what this means, and then your character wouldn't even respond the same way. It would be something totally different. And you're like, oh no, I didn't want to respond like that. What in the world? And that's what happens sometimes with some of these games, and that's definitely the case with this game. A lot of these choices I've made have definitely not gone the way I expected. Oh, what the heck is that? One of those ink blot things? So is there nothing in this house? Career, if I say no. I don't see anything. That is highly disappointing. I really hope we get like a recap on the story of the house and who I am as this ghost. I'm sure I will. Alright, well, here we go. This is it, guys. We've come all the way to the end. Oh my gosh. We get to find out what's going on. Alright, yeah. Here we go. This is it. Let me get ready to talk fast. Here we go. Dan agonized over the decision, but in the end he couldn't pass up the opportunity to take a professorship. A job with a steady paycheck that revolved around his craft gave him hope that writing could finally become his future, that he could devote his professional life to it and make his dreams a reality. He signed and mailed the offer letter the next morning. While Linda understood why Dan had accepted the position at Hardesty, it did nothing to ease her disappointment over leaving Lawrenceton. Blairstown had no program like Art for All, but she refused to give up her painting, and she put on a successful gallery in November. Her only regret was the feeling that she'd had to do it on her own, that her husband didn't truly support her career. Son of a gun. This is what I'm talking about. Tommy didn't handle the relocation well. His first year of school had been hard enough, but being a stranger on his first day of the new year, surrounded by children who already knew each other, was even harder. It took him months to adjust, and he never understood why they had to move and start over. I'm sorry, Tommy. I should have gone with Linda's. Dang it. I knew I should have gone with Linda's. And that's how the Kaplan's summer in the house on the cliff came to an end. It was much more than just a single season on the coast. Dan's choices there would come to define the rest of his family. Paul was floored when he got Dan's final draft. Grovefield literally stopped the presses on the other books to meet demand for Dan's, and that November he won the National Book Award. His career took off, and after almost a dozen more novels, he retired as one of the most respected authors in American literature. He never forgot that summer, the summer he found his muse. Oh, wow. But by the time Tommy went back to school, he was in no better shape than when they had come to the house. He continued to struggle with reading, withdrew into himself and avoid being bullied, and never followed his passion for drawing. He stayed in his shell throughout high school, where he got along but never thrived. By his 20s, he had settled into life with forgettable jobs and few close friends. Oh my gosh. Come on. By the end of the summer, Dan and Linda were in a happier place, and their relationship had grown solid. Dan improved his commitment to it with his actions, and their lessons they learned that summer served them well. As they grew old, they looked back fondly on that summer, always seeing it as the time their love took root for good. Oh, that's good. Dan would look back on that summer from time to time and wonder why he had made the choices he had. He never quite shook the feeling that the voice in his head had been more than just a voice. In the quiet moments, he would even imagine that he had been a character in someone else's novel. At times, he was almost sure of it. Nice. Dedicated to my beautiful wife Christine. Without her belief, support, and patience, this game would not exist. Game by Kent Hudson. Special thanks, Tynan Wales, for always being there and invaluable design advice. That's awesome. Tynan. Dave Pittman, Ryan Madsen, Johnman Norgan, Zach McClendon, Alan Murray, Owen Chowens, Miles Walker, Donovan Barub, Jordan Thomas, Ross and Lucy Dwyer, Dan, Linda, and Tommy. Yeah, he has actually people. Oh, probably the voice actors. CG Bot Art, Tynan Wales. Playtesters, with their honest and insightful feedback, this game would be incalculably worse. Holy cow, that's a lot of people. That is a lot of playtesters. Parent interviewees, thank you for your honesty and telling me what being a parent is like. Nice. Everglades song by Blessed Feathers. Blessedfeathers.com. Following were used to create Novelist, Unity, Uscript, Scrivener, Evernote, Wunderlist, Apogee, Cheetah 3D, Twisted Wave, Pixelmator, Glow Per Object, Pro Builder, Deep Dream Highlighting System. Fonts. License free for commercial use. Awesome. Sounds Typewriter by freesound.org. Other sounds original creations or were purchased from pond5.com for royalty-free commercial use. So there you go, freesound.org and pond5.com. Some good royalty-free noises. And that is going to do it for this series. Thank you guys so much for watching. I kind of want to play through this again and see if I can get a better result, because that was kind of disappointing. I mean, come on, I did plenty of stuff for Tommy. He grew up to be to not follow his dreams. Like, that's pretty harsh. That's pretty harsh. So, I'm a little bit disappointed with that, but Dan became an award-winning novelist, so that's awesome. And Dan and Linda got back on track, and definitely better than on track, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching this series. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support for my channel here. It's much appreciated. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And stay tuned for a new series. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but we'll do something hopefully similar to this, something that's a little more story driven, a little more, something that makes you think a little bit. That's the type of game I really enjoy and I really love, and so stay tuned, and I will see you next time.